Holy shit. Agnolia got turned to dust in this chapter. Like seriously, both his dragon body in the real world and its human body in the time-lapse dimension, whatever you want to call it, they both got turned to ashes in this chapter after Natsu killed him. And you know what's so epic about this? You know what's so epic about the fact that he is finally dead, that he's finally gone for good? It's not the fact that Natsu beat him. It's the fact that Lucy, at the end of the day, is the reason why he was defeated. Lucy, at the end of the day, got us the W. If it wasn't for her using Fairy Spear on him, he would have tanked that attack from Natsu and killed him and killed everyone. And there would have been nothing anybody could have done to stop him. And if you don't believe me, let's look back at what happened in the chapter. We find out in this chapter that not only is Agnolia's bodies, like his dragon and human body, connected in the sense that like if one dies, the other dies, as we saw at the end of the chapter. No. It's also connected in the fact that if one is incapacitated, the other is incapacitated. Which no one knew. No one knew going into this. So they all just planned on trapping Agnolia's dragon body in that ship just to give the Dragon Slayers enough time to defeat him in the time-lapse dimension. They didn't know defeating him or trapping him on a ship and basically causing him that motion sickness that all Dragon Slayers suffer through would incapacitate his real body. But at the end of the day, it did. And because of that, because Lucy had the idea to use Fairy Spear and she was the one to implement Fairy Spear and trapped him on a ship, regardless of the fact that everyone else had to help her out, which, by the way, credit the hero for reminding me that Meriday is a fucking character. I completely forgot about her because it's been so long since we've seen her actually do something. So when she showed up in the middle of this chapter, I was like, hey, everyone here is not enough. This magical power you have gathered here isn't enough to trap him. So I went and gathered all the magical power throughout the entire country, and we're all just bringing our power together to send to you so you can trap him with Fairy Spear. Which he does, it works, and he's incapacitated. Which means Agnolia's body in the real world can't move. He says it in the chapter. He's like about to tank Natsu's attack. He's about to send another attack right back at Natsu. And he's like, I can't move. I'm fucking stuck. And then we see the look of fear on his face. We see the look of complete terror on his face when he sees Natsu coming in with that giant like dragon fire fist at him. And the reason why he's terrified is because he thinks back to when he was fighting Igneel and when Igneel managed to take off his arm. He looks at his arm, which is starting to bleed for some reason, and he just thinks back to that time when Igneel took off his arm. Now granted, Agnolia killed Igneel at that moment, but he still took off his arm, so I guess it left Agnolia kind of like afraid of fire dragons in a sense. So when he sees a giant flame fist of a dragon coming at him, he thinks back to Igneel. He is fucking shit-faced terrified right before Natsu finally deals the final blow and kills him. So yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that Natsu, or I should say Lucy, incapacitated him by using Fairy Spear and trapping him on a boat, he wouldn't have been afraid. He wouldn't have been terrified of Natsu's attack. He would just be like, oh, you know what, it's magic attack. I'm just going to tank it like I always do and then send an attack right back at him. No. If it wasn't for Lucy, he would have took that shit. He would have killed Natsu. He would have killed everyone. At the end of the day, Lucy got us to fucking win. But you know what? Enough fucking, fanboying over Lucy. Let's talk about the rest of the chapter. Alright, when I first read the chapter, I was a little disappointed. Because at the end of the day, Agnolia has been this big threat that's been built up throughout the entire series. He's been built up as this like big thing. Even Zeref, the guy who was built up even more than him as being like, oh, the final boss among final bosses, the guy that's so undefeatable. Even Zeref was afraid of him. Zeref was like, alright, you know what, even I'm not strong enough to beat him, so I need to get Fairy Heart in order to have a chance to defeat Agnolia. Even Zeref was afraid of him, and yet he was defeated so easily in this chapter. Now, granted, I accepted the fact that Lucy was the one that stopped him from being able to tank the attack. I accepted that fact, but at the end of the day, I was still disappointed because he was built up so much that you thought, alright, when it comes to the final confrontation between Agnolia and the Dragon Slayers, we get this epic battle where we see all the Dragon Slayers fighting against him. At the end of the day, maybe them struggling, and then at the end of the fight, point out the W. But we didn't get that. We did not get that in these last like 3 or 4 chapters that they've been fighting him. Really, the only thing we've been getting is like we see a few scenes or a few panels here and there of them attacking him. But it's mostly just been them on the ground lying down while he attacks them and just basically berates them throughout the entire thing. So we didn't really get the epic battle that we were kind of promised or we were kind of all looking forward to. So yeah, when I read that, I was a little disappointed. But after reading it again a few times, I realized, you know what? It makes sense. It makes sense that we didn't get an epic battle between the Dragon Slayers and Agnolia. Because of the fact that Agnolia was built up so much that there was no hope of them ever having a chance of defeating him. There really wasn't any hope of the Dragon Slayers ever standing a chance to get them. So instead of showing us them basically being tossed around left and right, Hero says, alright, you know what? I want to focus on what's going on in the real world and focus on, the normal people, the non-Dragon Slayers, taking on Agnolia's dragon body that's on a rampage, and then working together to defeat him. Because at the end of the day, that was actually more epic than the fight would have been between Dragon Slayers and Agnolia. Because like I said, it would have just been them getting tossed around, getting defeated by him, only to come out with some bullshit way to defeat him at the end of the day, like they did in this chapter. So yeah, basically after I reread the chapter a few times and thought about the reason why Hero basically formatted the fight between the Dragon Slayers and Agnolia the way he did, I was fine with it. I didn't have a problem. What I did have a problem with was the final words of Agnolia. He's sitting there thinking to himself after while he's turning to dust, he's like, I failed. I wanted to destroy everything, and at the end of the day, I didn't accomplish my goal. And Natsu's like, you know what? It doesn't matter if you wanted to destroy everything, because you wouldn't have been able to destroy everything. Because at the end of the day, you wouldn't have been able to defeat my friends. Now, that is the dumbest fucking bullshit Natsu has said this entire series. What the fuck does he mean at the end of the day? Agnolia wouldn't have been able to take his friends. What the fuck does that mean? If Agnolia would have defeated him, which he would have if Lucy didn't use Fairy Spear on him, he would have went into the real world, back to the real world, or even if his human body was stayed in time lapse dimension, his dragon body at the end of the day would have eventually broken out of the time lapse and killed everyone. All your friends gone, Natsu. That whole speech you had of at the end of the day he wouldn't been able to take your friends, that's complete bullshit. It's circumstantial. If it wasn't for Lucy or, the circumstances preventing him from attacking you, he would have done exactly what you said he wouldn't have been able to do. So that was kind of bullshit. And then that being enough reason for Agnolia to be like, you know what, you're right. You deserve to be fair. You deserve to be Dragon King. It made no fucking sense. I'm not sure. I honestly have no idea. Even after reading it I read the chapter 3 fucking times. Even after reading it 3 times, I have no idea what Hero was trying to say in that. But I did like Natsu's little end note there. He's like, you know what? I don't need to be Dragon King. As long as I got my friends, nothing else fucking matters. That was kind of sweet. Even though it was corny, that was a kind of a sweet thing for him to say. But yeah, after that, everyone's, celebrating. All the people in the real world are celebrating that, Agnolia's body's disintegrating. They're like, holy shit, we did it, we won. Lucy's like, nah, we didn't do shit, even though that's bullshit. She's the one who won the thing for us. She's like, nah. The Dragon Slayer defeated Agnolia. We were just here to hold them back. They were the ones who actually won in the end. And then we see, the sky's breaking apart again, but it's only to let the Dragon Slayers out. They come flying out. Natsu lands right on top of Lucy and Happy. They had a little sweet moment. Everyone's all back together, and they're like, alright, we won. That's it. We're at the end of the story. And that's literally where the chapter ends, where it just shows Fairy Tail's guild, the half-destroyed guild. And it's like, alright, it's basically Hero saying, tune in next time to see what happens at the end of the story. But yeah, that's pretty much all that happened in the chapter. Now, we basically just had to look forward to the final chapter next week, which I think it's going to be like 48 pages, like I said. I think 2 colored pages at the beginning. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be honest with you, I might cry during my review, because Fairy Tail has just been such a big thing for me. I know I started reviewing it late, near the end, but at the end of the day, it's still something that is a big part of me, something that I look forward to reading pretty much every week. And I'm going to be sad to see it gone. Now, before I end the video, I do want to correct something I've been saying for the past few reviews. Whenever I said that there were 4 chapters left or 3 chapters left at the beginning of each chapter, I always thought that meant that it didn't include the chapter we're reading currently. So with chapter 543 last week when they said there was 3 chapters left, I didn't know that included chapter 543 in those 3 chapters. I thought it meant that after 543 there will be 544, 545, and 546 will be the final chapter. But I was wrong. It actually included that chapter, which is why this is the second to last chapter, and 545 will be the final. But yeah, that's basically it. I just want to say, I'm sorry I misspoke. If I give you any false sense that there might be an extra chapter, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading and reviewing the final chapter, and I hope to see you guys for my review. Alright, but yeah, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, comment down below with your thoughts, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.